All right, I'm gonna have to do this as a two-part video. Sorry about the ad. I can't believe there were two ads in that one. Yeah, I agree, Shelley. The slides with the information were moving really fast. So you have the link there if you want to look at them more closely. I know these discussions are recorded, but where do I find the TED videos that were the topics? Angela, so we have a list of the topics each month. We usually don't determine the videos until a couple days before the talk or sometime that week. But yeah, the topics for each month are outlined. Yeah, and the videos, I always link them in the chat. And then when I get the recording, or in this case, recordings posted, the videos will be there. Yes, thanks, Brian. Awesome. Thanks, everybody in chat. So thoughts, I know this, and I think the volume was a little low on this, and Colin Campbell, I know of him. He's probably most famous for his book called The China Study, which was a very long-term, decades-long research on diet and nutrition changes and regional patterns in China from like I think it was like from the 20s to like the 90s or something, and then looking at disease patterns, especially cancer, and how that changed based on diet in China. A really interesting book, and you can probably find like a video that kind of gives a recap of it. But yeah, thoughts that anybody would like to share?
This topic comes up, it seems like a lot for me, like just in things that I research and look for and pay attention to as far as media goes. But it's interesting that he brings it up. Why isn't it more prevalently talked about? And I mean, I think he's completely right when he says that it's corrupt and it's corporate interference. I mean, the FDA, it says like on their website, they're not in the business of health promoting substances, products. Like they just recently, well, it goes back and forth on whether or not they actually regulate supplements. And so they do, but like not as a medicine. So they aren't testing the effectiveness for it and things like that. And that is exactly what they're supposed to do. I mean, human health and as far as keeping us healthy and things that make us sick, and this is what they're supposed to determine. And they won't regulate things like probiotics and to make sure that the active cultures are still alive once they reach the person's hands. I think it's really irresponsible. And it's all to drive money. I mean, there's no other logical explanation for any of it. It's like they in the front lines, our government will present the good things that they do for us, and then behind the scenes they're destroying exactly what they've just done. It's ridiculous. I just don't understand what the point is. I mean, I think if enough people would kind of see that this isn't something that I noticed much until I stopped watching television. And then all of a sudden things became a lot clearer. And I was like, holy smokes, what is happening? Why are we allowing, our government to kind of take over and break the Constitution? Essentially, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. Because I mean, probiotics and the proper vitamins in your body, having a good balance in your body is what will keep it healthy. And they want to push medicines and they want to kill cancer. I'm like, why don't we try to balance cancer? Like, why aren't there? It seems like whatever's going to make the most money is what they go to, and it's discouraging.
Can I say something to that?
Yes.
I totally agree with you. Sitting here listening, I grew up always sickly, and I was a sickly child. I had a stomach disorder, and then at 24, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. And then at 26, I was diagnosed with another disorder, which caused several surgeries. And I've just kind of been on a roller coaster on all these different medications. And for my autoimmune disorder, they have me on medication that suppresses my immune system.
Right.
I was on 1,600 milligrams of ibuprofen a day. Because that started eating the lining of my stomach, I went to my doctor, and instead of putting me on a different medication, they said, here, take a stomach med to kill your stomach acid. And I was just getting to a point that I felt like I was sicker and sicker and sicker. I was gaining all this weight. I felt miserable. And I finally looked at my husband about 6 months ago, and I said, something has to give. Something has to stop, because I'm feeling so horrible. And instead of making me feel better, all this medication, they just keep piling it up. I mean, I was on 15 different medications. And I went to a hormone specialist near me, about over an hour away, but still near me. And she goes, I'm going to do some blood work. And I said, okay. And I did the blood work, and my glucose was out of control. And I had protein buildup in my blood, and my kidneys weren't working right. My liver wasn't working right. And it was just like this whole mess. I was scared that I was going to be diabetic, and I was going to do this, and I had to be put on more medication. She goes, this is what we're going to do. You're going to start fasting from all day, except for you're going to eat from 10 to 6. You're going to have 1 serving of dairy a day. That's it. You're going to go on a more plant protein diet. You're going to get more omega-3s in your system. She goes, I want you off the ibuprofen. I want you off this and this and this and this and this. Okay, but we're going to wean you off. We're not just going to cut you off. And I said, okay. And so I only eat between 10 and 6, and I take more plants and vegetables and fruits, and I do more protein that way. And I cut back on my beef and all that. And I am taking in more salmon and stuff for the omegas, and I am completely off of a lot of my medications except for 2. I feel better. My glucose is under control. My, protein levels are coming down. And it was just amazing that going to a more organic food source and not having the pesticides and the herbicides, and not having all the synthetic proteins, because if you think about it with cattle and everything else, I live in Kansas, and we have a lot of cattle, and we have a lot of wheat, and I watch all these pesticides and fertilizers being laid on these crops, which is not good for your systems. And then on top of it all, our cattle get hormones. They get hormones to produce more milk. They get hormones to be bigger. They get hormones to eat more. They get hormones and antibiotics when they're sick. I mean, they're constantly getting shots, which you're ingesting all of that. Mm-hmm. And I agree. Exercise and nutrition are some of the best ways to control your health. And I have found myself going to a more natural type of diet and not taking in all these chemicals. And I have found personally myself, and this is my personal experience, that I feel healthier and I'm doing better than what I ever could with doctors just pumping me full of drugs. I'm not in as much pain or so sickly that I just can't control anything. So that's my personal opinion, and I hope that it helps somebody else. I found it to be very helpful for me. So
thanks for sharing, Latasha.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad that you found a better way.
Thank you.
Like the smart way, the real way that it's supposed to work. Because it's insane what money does to people.
Charles, did you have a comment? I hear your mic is on.
I'm here, reporting to whoever I have to report to know I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any other comments? We're just a little bit past time.
I just want to add, maybe like mindset is something I think that plays a big role in all of this too. Having a good attitude about it, just not being negative towards yourself, just not negative self-talk. Like I had to retrain myself how to stop doing all of that. I mean, they put me on pain medication for 8 years and I was a mess. And I'm so glad to not take that stuff anymore. I mean, they started me out on 240 pills a month. It was insane. And it was a real problem for me. I had extreme emotional trauma and I had to relearn everything. I felt like, as far as like how my body worked after having all those pills in my system, and it was awful. And but mindset and just telling myself that I can and to overcome it, was really beneficial as much as, diet and exercise for me.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Mhm.
Tanya, did you have a comment? I saw you come on off of mute.
Yeah, I have an autoimmune too, and my doctor is pushing cancer treatment drugs, methotrexate, for my autoimmune. I have Ehlers-Danlos, and it affects all my organs. And I've already took 1 round of chemo for several months. I say 1 round. It's been several. I take it every day. And I started bleeding, so my doctor had taken me off of it, and now my insurance wants to put me back on it. And I've been eating properly. I've been taking everything that I'm supposed to. I've been changing my eating, as Latasha had said. I did exactly what she's been doing. And I can't get out around my insurance. I mean, how do they get away with telling us what we have to take?
They can't, I would think.
I mean, I have fought them left and right, and my husband has fought them left and right. And they're saying that I have no choice but to go on this. And I don't want to take it anymore. But I can't afford any more organ failure. I'm already in heart issues. I've already got lung and kidney issues. And the cancer is just I don't have cancer, but the treatment for cancer is not helping.
No, I
But
don't know why they do that to you. That's crazy.
Well, it's not just the eating part. I mean, there's medication, if I don't take it, it makes it 3 times worse. If I do take it, it makes it 5 times worse. Because, between lupus and it goes all along with this, it's not just one autoimmune. It affects everything.
Right.
My whole immune system. It's not just one area. So I'm asking y'all as a group, what do y'all suggest besides the eating? I mean, since I've got y'all here, besides the eating right and the exercising.
I think you would benefit tremendously from just making sure to not feed into the negative things that they tell you. Because it seems like that's something you stress with, and you're always concerned and worried and you don't feel good. And I've been there. And so I think that trying to steer yourself out of that negative trap that people get sucked into, and thinking that you cannot get better a different way, or that you have to listen to them is not something you have to put up with. It's just not.
Well, I refuse to go back on it. Yeah, well, I told them I refuse to, but then they're saying that I'm refusing treatment. So, and I'm not.
Right. I'm refusing this treatment because it makes me worse, not better. And so it's just,
and because I've taken everything else.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So,
but they wouldn't try healthy ways.
They won't let me even go on the Skyrizi because I haven't been on the methotrexate for 3 months, and it's causing me to bleed.
Wow.
I hope there's no big pharma people on this one.
Well,
I wish
they are. I wish there was, sir.
Yeah.
Well, no, they would take a massive hit if they followed this Whole Foods logic that the second video was talking about. I thought it was interesting, the correlation between animal protein and early cancer. That's one that you think would get some more traction in the media. And
Yeah.
it seems like vegetarian diet might actually be healthiest based on this guy's oratory, which I thought was pretty good. And also, one random thought: if you ever go into Jimmy John's, ask them what kind of meat they put on there, and they will actually call it protein instead. So I thought that was kind of that was kind of funny that they can't even say meat anymore. So
we're a little bit past time. Thank you, everybody, for all the wonderful comments, all the participation. I really appreciate it. A lot of people shared a lot of really personal stories, and so I just want to say thank you for coming. I'm going to wrap it up and stop recording. Anybody who needs to leave, feel free to leave. And we hope to see you at the next one. There's actually another one later in this month that will be led by an honor student who is picking the topic, and that was in the email invite. And I'll send out a reminder email on the day of that. I believe it's May 24th, in 2 weeks from today, same time. Different link though. All the second Wednesday TED Talks, which is our regular ongoing, is always the same link, but any other special events, like if students want to do a separate one, that'll be a separate link. So thank you, everybody, for sharing. And yeah, good luck with your health journeys, diet, exercise, mental and emotional health. It's important to stay balanced. And if you're not if something's not working for you, research and figure out, a different strategy based on, professionals, literature, try something different. So have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.